Hi, my name's Ilma and welcome to my channel. I have been posting Christian blogs 14 and a half years since I started every day. Today, I would like to share Deuteronomy 8 verses 1 to 6. Here is God's word. The whole commandment that I command you today, you shall be careful to do, that you may live and multiply, and go in and possess the land that the Lord swore to give to your fathers. And you shall remember the whole way that the Lord your God has led you this 40 years in the wilderness, that he might humble you, testing you to know what was in your heart, whether you would keep his commandments or not. And he humbled you and let you hunger and fed you with manna, which you did not know, nor did your fathers know, that he might make you know that man does not live by bread alone, but man lives by every word that comes from the mouth of the Lord. Your clothing did not wear out on you, and your foot did not swell this 40 years. Know then in your heart that as a man disciplines his son, the Lord your God disciplines you. So you shall keep the commandments of the Lord your God by walking in his ways and by fearing him. Deuteronomy 8, 1 to 6. Here's my poem. Humbled in the wilderness. When you belong to the Lord, he will strengthen you. He will test you so you can be resilient and strong. It is his way of humbling you so you can rely on him. You will be like his child who needs nurturing and caring. He will allow you to go through life's wilderness so you can stay meek and be led to righteousness. Remember that he will always provide for your needs. He never forsakes his children and never forgets them. Here's my commentary. The writer of this book reminds the Israelites what God has done for them while they were in the wilderness for 40 years. Most of all, he reminded them to keep the commandments and follow them so they can multiply and possess the land that God promised them. Moses reminded them of the covenant that they made with their Lord, and that agreement had expectations from their end to fulfill. That part of their covenant entails that they go through all the tests and obstacles that will lead them to take the promised land so that the promise will be fulfilled. In this account, Moses explained to them the purpose of the 40 years in the wilderness. It was to keep them humble and dependent on God. Many of them were grumbling about why they had to give up all the things they loved in Egypt. They couldn't recognize the benefit of being free from slavery because they were attached to the things that they were used to, even though they were in bondage. It is like Stockholm Syndrome, where the victim begins to love the victimizer and the things done to her because it became so normal and part of her life. They cannot see that they are being abused. The abuser tries to bring some pleasurable things, so they forget that they are being used and enslaved. Moses tried to remind them of all the provisions that God brought them as they went through the wilderness for 40 years, so they can remember the covenant promise they made to God. Reflection. Share how you have been humbled in some of your wilderness journey. Coming to Canada is a way that God had allowed me to see him in my life, because I was so blinded by all my dreams, my goals, my achievements. I was so blinded that I was doing something good for myself when, as I think I did something good, it wasn't really good for me, but it was something to cover up all the pain of the traumas that I went through. It's something to cover up all the shame that I experienced as I went through all those trauma. It made me blind to see that I created all these idols so that I will not have to face the consequences of the sins. But so I was humbled when I went to Canada. It was because I was so frustrated and hopeless and depressed living in the Philippines, raising my own child, and he was 15, 16 years old. I was having a hard time dealing with what's going to happen to me when he grows up. And so I resorted to finding love out of my loneliness and out of my fear of being alone when my son grows up. And so what happened is that I was led to be misled by my first husband. So when I went to Canada, I thought I was just gonna make all my dreams come true. That I will continue being a painter, I will continue to earn money, I will continue to have the popularity that I'm a good artist and all that stuff. And so when I came here, God didn't allow those things to happen. So I went through all this anger at not being able to work and earn money, not being able to sell any of my works. So that's how I was humbled. And in that wilderness, God showed himself to me, because then I began to see that he was always there for me. I just didn't see him because I was so focused on the things that I want. Thanks for watching. How about you? What is your wilderness journey? How did it make you humble? So if you want to write your comments of your answers on the comments, please do, so I could interact with you, and I will try my best to answer it. Thanks for watching. If you haven't seen yet, I have done over 4,000 videos over the course of years I've been doing this daily. Just type on YouTube or Google search ILMA'S Poem Devotional. Have a wonderful day.